Good morning, everybody. It is December 16th, 8:25 a.m. We finally got some selling in a breakout of this range yesterday. I guess the hawkish fin meant something after all, right? Um, what I want to show everybody is today's an important day, okay? It's quad witching day. Okay, what that means is there was four types of options expiring today. Okay, you have futures, so ES futures, okay, NQ futures, any futures product, okay, that is expiring. You have futures options expiring. You have stock options expiring, and you have index options expiring. So sometimes it can cause a little bit of a crazy movement in the market, especially because market makers, like, if we have this selling from puts, right, that people want to take profits today, it's going to expire, but maybe they take it profit, they close it. The market maker is going to then buy futures. They don't no longer have to be selling futures, because if you buy a put and a market maker, okay, then has to sell you that put. So that selling a put is a bullish thing. So in order to hedge, what they do is they sell futures. So now they're neutral. Their position's a neutral position. Hence why the market will move down, right? Well, now if somebody takes off their put option today, closes it, the market makers now can buy back the futures they sold. I'm not saying we get a rip and roaring rally today. I'm just saying something crazy could happen like that. And just to give you some perspective, this is how much options are expiring today. It's about $4 trillion. Okay, and you can see the largest amount is in SPX AM options this morning. 2.4 trillion are going to settle this morning in the AM. So a total of 2.8. So because you have along with E-minis and non-SPX index. And then PM settlement is 1.2 trillion. Okay, that's where you have SPY, SPX PM, non-SPY ETF, and then you have single stocks. All right. So this is what's going to come off the books today. That's why I'm saying today could be a little wacky. And then what happens later on is they call it like a pinning effect. Certain prices will pin at a certain price. That doesn't always happen, but you see it happen sometimes. Like where, like, let's say, like Amazon for example, back in the day when it was at like 3,000 on a Friday, it might just stay around 3,000 because it would just be pinned. Um, so that I just wanted to explain that before we move forward, because that's why it's an important day today. Okay. Um, all right. Let's get over to the watch list. And let's look at what we're seeing this morning. All right. We got the VIX higher. We got TNX higher. We got the dollars flat. We have the Nasdaq down 0.49. ES down 0.96. So the Nasdaq is stronger than the ES. Now, this was down a lot more earlier. It was down like over a percent. ES, and this it's kind of coming back a little. Dow's down percent. Okay, that usually means financials, healthcare is taking a hit, but I didn't even look at that yet. Russell's down 1.12%, Bitcoin down 2.53%, crude down 2.56%, down almost $2 a barrel, Well, good old China is reporting deaths in Beijing. So that's why that's happening. All right. Now, interesting that BABA's up 2.76% pre-market. Okay. Let me see if there's news with that. Alibaba co-founder reportedly ropes in Morgan Stanley to sell 8 stake amid diversification away from e-commerce giant. Okay. Um, we have Meta. Meta's up 2% pre-market. Very interesting. Security experts buckle up. Facebook parent offering hefty sum to find vulnerabilities on quest to put on. I mean, it's up 2% pre-market. Very interesting. Tesla's up. I say a mixed bag here. Now, who's the laggard, right? Boeing, Nvidia, Coin. No surprise with Coin, right? Coin's in the 30s now. It was at the low 40s for a long time. Now, who do we have? Leaders and laggards, top sectors. I don't see a leader. I see laggards, right? Roblox and oil. All right. Sector wise, I don't see a leader. However, let's look at the laggards. We have a very interesting here: real estate, industrials, basic materials, but 2% is energy. Okay. All right. Let's get into the daily chart. All right. And we finally had this somewhat of a break out lower yesterday. All right. So we broke this trend line. We finally got away from this 90 MA daily and the 20. And we finally broke 393. Okay. The next leg was 388 defense wise. And we hit it and we kind of like closed above it. Right. If you look here, this was 390 was like a key level here that we broke finally. Okay. Let's look at those cues. Q broke the trend. Also hit the 50-day moving average. Let me see. I'm sorry, because in futures, the SPY, I mean ES hit the 50. Yeah, see, in SPY it did not, didn't come close to, but in the futures it did. That's why it bounced off the bottom in the futures. So it did close below the 50 here, the Qs. Okay, it did. All right. You can see this last support was broken. And we have a low over 9273. All right, let's look at triple headed, because the bond market hasn't really been showing its hand. It's still not. It's in this range. It's in this range, so still not showing its hand. It's not reacting to the market. VIX, we've kind of been in this range the last 2 days. All right, it's a little elevated today. And the dollar is still in a downtrend. Okay. Let's look at the Dow, just to look at the Dow. All right, here's the Dow. Dow has been stronger. See, we're still above the 200-day moving average. Now, I'm noticing that the 50 was going to cross the 200, which is the golden cross. Very interesting. But we're coming off the top pretty hard, so let me get rid of this. All right, let's look at the Russell. All right, that Russell, this resistance is just crazy. And the Russell is just in this range. Broke out of this a little bit, but this support here is okay. We're at 173, so are we at this support right now? Yep. Right at this support. We're right here right now. All right, let's look at the futures. All right, let's see what we're doing here. So here's the profile for the last week. That looks pretty balanced to me now. Okay, so some would say we might have reached the bottom based on the profile. See how we thinned out here from here, right? We dropped. Actually, the most traded price was up here of the week. It's dropped now, which is bearish, to here. That price is 39.27. Okay. Now look what happened after this price. The volume is tapering. This could be the low temporarily. We have been pretty oversold. Okay. So caution shorts, I would say. We're starting to thin the profile out. Overall, that's what I'm saying. Overall, if you look at the profile that I just erased by accident, if you look at this profile, right, it's a complete profile. Now, again, this doesn't mean absolute. It just means normally when you have excess at the bottom, we're probably going to come back and test this area. Okay, that's what this means. It's kind of like a rubber band. You know, it kind of like you're stretching it, you're stretching it, you're stretching it, and usually what happens if you run out of steam, it snaps. Okay, it snaps. And where is it going to snap to? It's going to snap to the most traded price of the week. And then that's the test. This is the test. Okay? And what they say sometimes is you have to go higher in order to go lower. So if we run out of steam here, snap back here, hold it here, and then we go back down, now you can start building out more volume again and maybe move lower. Or you come above this, hold it, and we're going back here. That's how the market works. Okay. So we're gapping lower. Okay, we're right here. 38.84. We have some single prints. Alright, I can zoom in. Zoom in for you guys now that I showed you the profile. Okay. Let's see if I can get a really good shot of this single prints here for you guys. Here we go. Okay, you get real zoomed in view now. Okay, so these are single prints from the overnight. So the plugin that I have will automatically make white boxes, and you can see how thin this volume is. Okay, so this is emotional selling right here. So we have two distributions, one up here and we have one down here. Okay, so if I'll explain this a little again just to make sure everybody understands. This is where the most traded price of the week is now. Okay, also the most traded price of yesterday. If this market cannot bring this down here, and we can't build value out here, if we can't do it, we're gonna go snap right back here. Okay, and these single prints are very vulnerable. Okay, quick view on the single prints. It's emotional buying or selling. In this case, emotional selling. Okay, so there's not, you can see here in the volume, there's not two-way trade there. So if we come back through this, okay, now you still have to contend with yesterday's low, but if we come back with volume, we could clean these and then eventually head right here. Okay, so I'm going to be watching that. It's very important. Okay, so this is how the market works. You can't look at this taper. Okay, got a lot of volume here, and look, taper, taper. Not a lot of people playing down here. Okay, so you know, and it's options expert. It's quad witching. So I don't know. I don't know what could happen. I can't predict the future. But let's just say a bunch of people, like I showed you, SPX AM options are expiring. All right. I'm just saying market makers can buy back futures. They don't need to be have futures being sold anymore. The market's going to rip. Now, that's just a theory. It doesn't mean it has to happen, but I could see, I'm just talking about probabilities. Okay? So these single prints have got my attention. Okay? Now, of course, you have to always talk about the gap fill. If we start coming here and we don't pause here to fill the gap and we just kind of start going and cleaning these singles, our destination is here. Okay? Most traded price of the week, 39.27. All right? And now I can split these out and show you the market profile. See, this is really, you guys don't see this a lot because it's been so volatile. But really, if I make this even bigger, just show everybody just the overnight session, just to show everybody what the market profile really is. Okay, and if you, I know it's still small, but all it is every TPO is a 30-minute period, and TPO stands for time price opportunity. Just means that from 9:30 to 10 is A period. So see A, and these little circles are the open of that period. So it's all these are 30-minute bars. So this is the overnight. So you can see here we opened A period, right? So we opened here, came down, came back up, opened here in B period, came down, came up, opened here in D period. That's it. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. It just everything's a 30-minute period. So these are 30-minute bars. And then look what happened. In W, we ripped down. And single prints, okay, are just no other letter, no other time overlaps it. So just see A period here. That's why single prints start here, because there's nothing else that's overlapping with this. It's one-way trade. You're not going to see this in a candlestick. Okay? Look again. See, because X overlapped W here. So there's no single prints. But look, nothing overlaps X here, from here to here. That's why they're single prints. And look at that volume. Very thin. That's longs just got liquidated there. Okay? Hope that clears it up a little bit. All right, that's what the market profile zoomed in is. Oop. I hope everybody saw that the way I intended it to be seen. Like that, okay? Just to be clear, this just means no other letter, no other 30-minute period overlapped these areas. That's why they're single prints, hence the volumes then. Okay? We can't bring the most traded price of the week down here. We can't do it. We're going back. So I really have my eye on this and the gap fill. Okay? Okay, let's look at the NASDAQ. We're gapping lower. Now the NASDAQ is making it's down, but it's closer to filling its gap right now. Okay, and you don't have those single prints like you do in the ES. They're not there. The NASDAQ is stronger. Okay, so the play really for that is still in the ES. Okay, so there's nothing really different about the NASDAQ other than there is differences. It doesn't have that big down move. ES is down 1.06%. NASDAQ is only down 60.6. Okay, so it's a little different. All right, let's move over to the hourly charts. Just give me a sec here. I'll hit you with the watch list. All right. Now let's look what we got here. So we have a clear resistance here, 39.32. Okay, 39.32. Now let me put the most traded price of the week on this chart right there. So you got some confluence there. Okay, so you have this resistance, most traded price of the week now. No surprise, look at this little range, and then it finally broke, hence the single prints. Okay, so 39.32 in the most traded price of the week. That's the wall. That is the wall. Okay, now support wise, now this was just broken. This was being resistant. It got broken right here, so I can remove that. That doesn't count. What I'm going to do is I'm going to move it here, because now this is the overnight. What is that? 38.97. So let's see here. And so now that's a resistance point for me to look at. All right. I also noticed they have a nice little trend line here, so that could be a point too. So let's on a candlestick chart, right? You don't see single prints, right? Look, the candle. You wouldn't know. You wouldn't know if this was a lot of time spent here. You wouldn't. You wouldn't know. Hence the single prints, right? But if we look at confluence here, I just want to point out multiple things at one time. We have a resistance, 39.32. We have the most traded price of the week. We have a supply zone, and we have a trend line. Okay. So, like I already talked about, if we can't move the middle shader price down here, we're going to go back here, right? Now, this could be a short place, right? You have to watch and wait, but this could be the short down. However, obviously, if we cut through this and hold above it, that means that the sellers might have ran out of steam and we're going to move higher. Okay, and we have single prints above here. Okay, so that's that. Support 38.72, resistance 38.97, resistance 39.32, but this is the key area. Okay, all right, let's look at the NASDAQ. You'll notice the same trend line. Okay, so we got that trend line, we got supply, most traded price of yesterday. Okay, and we have support here at ultimate support 114.96, but we also have another support at 114.74. Same kind of deal. Get through this area, we have single prints up here. Okay, can't get through this area, we're going to go back. Okay, now I do see right here there's resistance here, so I will add that now to my chart. Okay, right here, notice that was kind of support here, and it came up to it and we found selling. Okay, all right, now there is a little bit of a trend here, I might even mark that for now because it seems like we're on this hourly chart right here. You notice that we one, two, three times we bounced off this, so that's kind of valid. Look at the ES. Does the ES have the same little trend going? Yes. These are just things to look at. Not as great of a trend line. Okay. Q's a little cleaner. I don't put a ton of weight into everything. I just like to see certain things on my chart. Okay. I like this downtrend line a lot better, but you know what? This can hold it maybe. I don't know. I don't put a lot of weight into everything I'm saying. Okay. I just like to see that on the chart. It gives me another thing to look at. Okay. All right. So let's get back into market profile. I'm gonna wrap this up. Okay. So let's look at that move I was talking about. We got the overnight lows here, obviously. Prices here. Now, I said already, most traded price of the week is right here. If we can't, the volume's thin down here. If we can't move this down here, we're gonna go up. Obviously, we need to break. Obviously, we got this double top right here at 38.97. We need to break that. So I can see what happens right now in the open. We could push down. Then I think we push up. I think we cut through this double top, and we have single prints here. I think we can clean those. We fill the gap, probably get a little bit of a resistance here, and then I think we can go here. And now ultimately, wow, if we can cup like this, we can start moving higher. Now this is possibility, right? I'm just saying we could also balance off, or we could fall back a little bit. I think that might be a good scenario there. I'm not saying I like it. I guess what I'm saying. I like that scenario, at least to here. All right. Bearish. I think we need to move higher in order to go bearish. All right. I think, we could even move, fill the gap, try to come up again, and then maybe we revisit these overnight lows. Okay. Not sure because we've sold off pretty multiple days in a row now. I don't know how much is left there. It's always possible. Okay. And lastly, good old balance card, which could either go one or two ways. Okay. Either we can move up, bounce off here, come down, balance off here. That's what I see. All right. That's what I see. Not going to be much different is in the Qs. Qs are a little stronger, right? They're almost filling the gap now. Okay. So they don't have these single prints to clean. They do have a little bit of a thin profile, but it's not like here. Okay. So I can see us pulling down again. Now you have a demand zone down here. You could pop out of it, fill the gap, and here's the test, right? Here's the test. If we come up to this area, supply zone, I definitely think we're going to get resistance, and if we could pop out of that, we're moving up, right? There's a bunch of single prints up here. Like I said, in this move up, it could stop here, right? But I think this move up is very important, okay? And bearish, I think the bearish, you get some strength up here, move into this supply zone, you fill the gap first, and then we roll over, and then we come back to the overnight lows, okay? And then possibly move lower. I don't think that's as likely, but I have to keep my mind open to it. And then lastly, we always know is good old balance. Move the most traded price of the week down here. Come down here and come back up, and we trying to make more new volume down here. Keep these lower prices. Keep these lower prices. So, all right, that's it for me, guys. I hope everybody has a good week, and give me a comment, like, or subscribe. Ask questions if you have any. And I wish everybody stays green today. And be careful. There's some news coming out at 9:45. Okay, if you're in trades, um, and be careful. It's quad witching, so could see some wild movements. Okay. All right. I wish everybody good luck, and I'll see you on Monday.